Hey, all midlife wives. Are you sitting in a space where you feel stuck, unhappy, unfulfilled, lacking energy and significance? Maybe you feel that you've lost your spark, or you're sitting in a phase of transition. Don't worry, I'm here for you. That is why I've created the Midlife Wife, to empower and educate you on how to unlock your mindset, rewire the limiting beliefs that you have about yourself, reconnect to your creator, and revive your health, mindset, and dreams so that you can be fueled, feisty, and fierce right now, right as you are in the life you are leading. Welcome to the Midlife Wife podcast, where we choose to rise with courage and successfully disrupt mediocrity to live insanely significant lives that light us up, while possibly still in our yoga pants with 3-day-old hair. Are you with me? Hey, I'm Katie Hallberg, top 20% realtor, turned real estate investor and broker, a top 6% network marketer, certified personal trainer, and lover of all things from the personal growth, nutrition, and health and wellness departments. I believe when we get out of our own way and let God show up, that's where the magic happens. I'm so grateful that you're here. Let's dig in to reviving your mind, body, and dreams.
Thank you for all your reviews. This week, my review is from Peggy, who says, "All the feels, Katie. Thank you for being brave." Thank you, Peggy, for listening and taking time to write a review, giving you a virtual hug. I'd like to give a shout out to my listeners in Sweden this week. There was a bump in numbers from Sweden. A fun fact between Texas, where I am, and Sweden is that Texas is 1.5 times larger than Sweden, or Sweden is 1.5 times smaller than Texas. It's kind of big. Texas is a big state. Thanks again, Sweden. Thanks again, Peggy. I really would love to leave this world better than I found it. And that requires me to shake things up sometimes and get uncomfortable. Speak out against things I don't believe in, but also be willing to learn and grow. And it's uncomfortable. Luvvie Ajayi, a Nigerian American author, speaker, and digital strategist, says that it takes one domino to fall to start the contagion of all other dominoes to fall. I kind of want to be that first domino on some things. I was a dance mom for years, a lot of years, like at least a decade. And the type, like the competitive type of dancing, like tap and jazz and contemporary, that requires lots of traveling and hairspray and rhinestones. If you know about select sports like select soccer or baseball, it's kind of like that, but for dance. And during that time, or for a couple years, the last few years, I let fear keep me quiet about the way some, mostly one, of the instructors was to the kids. I was fearful that my dancer would lose favor or not be promoted up on a different level or position, or it would get political if I spoke out. So I kept quiet. I stayed in mediocrity. I stayed in silence. It wasn't a secret either, like among the kids and other moms. It was a known issue. Still, I didn't want to be the whistleblower, so I didn't speak up. And we eventually left the dance studio. She quit taking dance classes there and competing with them. And I vowed to never let fear keep me quiet. The truth is always uncomfortable, but it's also uncomfortable to stay quiet. I used that lesson a few months later when I noticed some things in a middle school coach. I decided to take the jump, pick up the phone, and schedule a meeting with the coach. I wanted to create some change, knock down a domino, let that coach know what I never told the dance instructor, that they have a precious opportunity and platform speaking into the hearts and minds of young girls, young women, and that their words can build up or tear down. And I was seeing lots of tearing down and power struggles and control, almost as if these coaches and the dance instructor were acting like teenage girls themselves. I was nervous. I wrote some notes out. So I had some speaking points. I was pitting out, that nervous pit sweat you get, like before you go to the OBGYN. I was having that, and it smells like onions. But I did. And I went to that meeting with that middle school coach, and seeds were planted that day. I didn't see the big dramatic, domino falling, but seeds were planted and a little light was shined into some dark places. I lifted up a young leader to remind her she's powerful. She's a leader who has influence, and to use that for good, for development of humans, not just of winning games, not to make herself feel better than the students. If you need a little refresher in vulnerability, go back and listen to episode 11, The Blessings of Vulnerability. It's vulnerable to speak up. And with that first experience of being uncomfortable, I had the courage to do it again. Unfortunately, I had to do it like the next year. That coach left, moved on to another school. Unfortunately, the new young one came in with similar characteristics. But with each experience, the fear lasts a little bit less. You have options. You have feelings and emotions about right and wrong, and it matters. You matter, like your thoughts, your feelings. Like if something feels uncomfortable, America, I know for sure, and probably the whole world, needs some courage, needs some changes. Things are in disarray. Don't you agree? It's uncomfortable. And that's awesome. And I want you, sisters, to encourage you. I want to encourage you to speak up and speak out. Open yourself up. Lean into the difficult conversations that you know you need to have. Seek the truth. Share your truth. Because sitting in mediocrity is not a life you want to live. Robert Glazier says on his website, which is robertglazier.com, that in theory, the more comfortable we are, the more successful our lives should be. However, the opposite is true. The more vulnerable and uncomfortable we get, the more successful we can be. It turns out that comfort often creates complacency and avoidance. Hello. And it gets in the way of what we really want. Think about all those difficult decisions or conversations that you've had to put off. In most every case, it only serves to delay the inevitable. From personal experience, when I procrastinate having a challenging conversation or make a difficult decision, it's because I'm trying to make too many people happy. However, it comes at the expense of getting the outcome that I really want and is a drain on my energy and productivity. This is still Robert's words. He says, in my quest to get better at getting uncomfortable and addressing things head on, I've sought experts on the topic, such as Dr. Brene Brown. She has spent the last 13 years studying vulnerability, courage, worthiness, and shame, and is the author of 3 #1 New York Times bestsellers, Daring Greatly, The Gifts of Imperfection, and Rising Strong. After thousands of interviews with high achievers, her assessment is that our willingness to get uncomfortable is actually one of the greatest contributors to our ultimate success. Let that sink in. He continues, our ability to lean into discomfort and walk towards, not away from, uncomfortable situations defines who we are and our capacity for success. Brown states, when we step back and examine our lives, we will find that nothing is as uncomfortable, dangerous, and hurtful as standing on the outside of our lives, looking in and wondering what it would be like if we had the courage to step into the arena, whether it's a new relationship, an important meeting, the creative process, or a difficult family conversation. Oh, I love Brene Brown. Thank you, Robert Glazer, for sharing that on your website. So we're in COVID, and this month I got a text from that first middle school coach. I hadn't communicated with her in a long time. I think it's been about 2 years since she coached my kid, and then she had left the school for a different district the year after that. And we met for coffee, and we talked about that experience when I came in and personal growth and caught up on life. And I saw the seeds I planted sprouting in her. And it was beautiful. Y'all, God is good. Just the fact that she sought me out to connect with me tells me that my willingness to get uncomfortable and speak truth in a loving way made impact. It created respect. She respected me for that. And it was because I followed 3 things. I didn't know I was following these 3 things, but this is what Luvvie, who I quoted earlier, suggests with knocking down the first domino. There's 3 things when you're going to get uncomfortable and speak out. Number 1, do you mean it? Number 2, can you defend it? And number 3, did you say it with love? Keep these 3 guidelines in your pocket when you decide to get uncomfortable and speak out. And please do get uncomfortable. Please do speak out. Whether it's supporting your candidates up till election day, whether it's protesting the school districts, which people are doing in my community about opening schools, and whether it's about like social media posts. Be sure you're not just copying somebody else's post or meme. Make sure that you mean it, you can defend it, and that you are saying it with love. If you want to learn more about courage and getting uncomfortable, I recommend you get a free trial to Audible, from me at audibletrial.com/Katie Hallberg. You will get 1 free credit for a free download. It's pretty cool for 30 days. And if you're an Amazon Prime member, you can get 2 free credits or 2 free book downloads. And after the 30 days, you can cancel, or if you want to continue with Audible, it's $14.95 a month. I love it. And I want to give you all a few books that I recommend before I sign off. Of course, Brene Brown, specifically The Gifts of Imperfection and Daring Greatly. Both of those books are wonderful for teaching courage and getting uncomfortable. Also, The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho, probably pronouncing that wrong. The Alchemist. Alchemist is great. A New Earth by Eckhart Tolle. Amazing. A Return to Love by Marianne Williamson. Wonderful. And one I haven't yet read, but is on my list, is The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer. Again, get a free trial at audibletrial.com/Katie. It's Katie Hallberg, HALLBERG, for your free 30-day trial.
Now, before you go, if you found value in today's episode, if you connected with something or felt inspired in any way, pretty please take a screenshot for me and post it up in your Instagram and Facebook stories, and be sure to tag me, because together we can inspire, encourage, and empower others to live amazing intentional lives. Yes, we can. Let's do it.